Hey everybody, this is DJ Dougie Fresh. I'm just here rocking with the Mad Thinker and Carl Van Nevius the Third. What's up, baby? What's up?
Hey, hey
What's
guys.
up? What's up? What's up? Yo,
Good.
Carl, take it away, baby.
They say youth before age. Go for it, Julius.
How you guys doing? I'm Julius, Mad Thinker, and I'm excited to be here today to talk to you guys about what's going on. Thank you so much for having me again, Dougie.
Hey, it's always a pleasure, man. Well, we always love to have you in the studio. So, what's going on with you?
Hold on. Let me intercede. Carl Van Nevius III, Code Media Group, representing Sir. I say Sir because he's going to be knighted pretty soon. If you people don't know it, by the Queen of England. And because he needs to be knighted. What? He needs to be knighted. And that said, so Sir Dougie Fresh, as we've already knighted you, and we have the one and the only, Julius Space, aka the Mad Thinker, and my name is Carl Van Nevius III, and I am part of a very strong group out of New York City, Code Media Group / Sunrise Studios, and today this is House of Love, and we are going for it with the man, the one, the only, the Mad Thinker. The show will introduce not just this man, Dougie, this man as a top producer, remix.
It's nuts. So what's going on, everybody? This is DJ Dougie Fresh. I'm here with Carl Van Nevius the Third, and he's here with Mr. Mad Thinker himself, Julius, the Mad Thinker out of Chicago. We're just here live on Triple Vibes. I hope everyone's having a good time. We're on the Triple Vibes channel. We're just doing it well. My name is DJ Dougie Fresh. The original is the best. And as Calvin Van Nevius the Third always says, I've been knighted, baby. How's it going, everybody? We're just matching and relaxing, doing our thing. Carl, so what's going on, baby?
All right, people. First of all, pray, give thanks and praise like I should. Praise you like I should. We all know the song by Bad Boy Billy Brown. Sir, to be knighted by the Queen of England, Dougie Fresh. Can I get an applause? Hallelujah. And that said, Dougie, you're wondrous. Wonderfulness, more than people can even imagine what you do and what you've given to this world as a DJ, MC. And praise be to you from the Lord, from God above. Hallelujah. Praise you like I should. My name is Carl Van Nevius III, and I am one of the founding partners of Code Media Group. Code Media Group is 30 years established in New York City, slash now Sunrise Studios, representing the southern tip of Florida, as well as across the United States and the entire four continents, we'll say. And that said, Triple Vibes, 77 countries feed, and with Shaw Black, our number one man, with Dope Chef, giving us this opportunity, 3.5 years in the making of House of Love. And that said, praise be to them as well. Praise you like I should. That said, today's show is very special, House of Love, and we have a one and the only. There's never going to be a secondary version of this person in front of us. Julius Spates, aka known to the rest of the world, the Mad Thinker, producer, artist, DJ, Superman from Chicago, Chi-Town baby, Chi-Town superstar in the house.
How you guys doing?
Damn, baby.
I love it. When Chicago and New York come together, you get the best pizza you ever find. You never get a better. I mean, can you imagine, Dougie? You on one side of the kitchen, and Julius on the other side, and me on the other side serving the dishes. They'll never get a better dish in their life. Chi-Town NYC Sham Wow. Here we go. That said, this is House of Love, and Dougie Fresh, sir, to be knighted. I'm gonna be right there when she puts that little sword on your head and goes, I'm not gonna cut your head open. I'm knighting you, sir. I'm knighting you. You deserve it, Dougie. You're a rock star. And that said, when you're admitted to Rock and Roll DJ Hall of Fame, I would like to be there. And then I'll roll out the red carpet in front of you as Jesus washed the feet of his disciples. You are the man, Dougie. Thank you.
Well, I'm always glad to come through and,
Wow.
and run the shows for Code Media Group. And we try our best to give them everything that we can. This is DJ Dougie Fresh. I'm giving you the best music first on the triplevibes.com. We're here with Julius, the Mad Thinker, DJ extraordinaire. What's up, baby? How you doing? How's Chi-Town? How's the weather, baby?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Weather's not too bad at all. You know, we're creeping around 55, 60. So in November, I'll take it in Chicago any day now.
That's summertime in Chicago. I'm in Chicago and it's 25 below zero and the wind's blowing and everyone's like 8 feet of snow on the ground. No problem.
Hey, jingle
It's a heat
bells,
wave,
baby.
It goes, and we're New Yorkers. We get the snow, but it goes. But nothing. Chi-Town baby. I love. That's we tag as a Chi-Town superstar, and you are. I'm going to take a moment here and do a feed-in for this interview. That said, how do I start this again? Code Media Group represents the best artists in the world. Whether the live bands from Gwen Stefani to this one to that one to DJs Kioki to Dougie Fresh and on down the line, young rock stars, pop stars, superstars, actors, model, media gurus, writers, filmmakers. We go to Code Media Group is an umbrella, and the umbrella under that is Code NYC magazine, Sunrise magazine. Uh, 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 you on and on, and you'll find if you were to go to codenycmag.com or now sunrise-88.com, you will find the most incredible artists in the world with us. And that we are very proud to say that because it didn't happen overnight. Where I'm probably, I'm not going to count the years. We haven't done an established yet, but we're 30 plus, 35 years plus, born and raised in New York City. And everyone that works with us is an absolute superstar. Wouldn't you say, Dougie? Everybody that we work with are absolutely top of the notch. And we
only work with the best. So.
Well, the best made us the best. And there you go. So moving that around because people need to know that when you go to the website, you'll see all kinds of things. But today's focus is specifically on this show, House of Love, which again, thanks and praise. Praise you like I should. Bad boy Billy Brown. Hallelujah. Dougie Fresh. We started 3.5 years ago, and here we are. We've gone through everything in the world. Internet, this, that, figure out. And here we are now live, Skyping, interneting, radio, live broadcasts, 15 different feeds, 77 countries, 4.8 million listeners at our peak prior to the pandemic. And here we are now introducing the live feed factor. And I need to say that because none of us gave up. Nobody gave up. We kept on going. And hallelujah. And Dougie, again, thanks and praise to you. Just don't die.
Oh, God.
We're going to put you on we're going to make a fake Dougie if we have to. Put you on a stick and be like, a mouth over. Hi, this is Dougie Fresh.
Oh, you guys are too much.
Well, we have to, man. It's a moment the world needs to know. So here we go. One and the only Julius Space, a.k.a. the number one top DJs in the world, the Mad Thinker. So I only want to use the word DJ, producer, the Mad Thinker, Julius Space. Julius, here you are again. This is take two. We are. You have signed with our agency, and you are. Let's talk about your history. You're in Chicago, so start with there and tell us a little bit about your musical influences.
Thank you for the gracious introduction. First of all, I appreciate you both, Carl and Dougie, for having me on and supporting me and everything that I have going on right now. It's been pretty crazy as of late. But a little bit about myself. I'm about 45. I'm from a city called Elgin, about 45 minutes west of Chicago. I think I guess I would say love affair with music happened before I even realized it because, coming from Chicago, my parents were always every Saturday afternoon listening to the jams, whether they're listening to like soul or blues or jazz. But we had this huge stereo with like disco lights on the end of it. So I always remember we'd start cleaning clothes early in the day and then till the night, and the disco lights would be going. So little did I know I was just going to catch that groove. So that's where it started, of course, with Michael Jackson and Prince. And then somewhere around sixth grade, I actually had the opportunity to listen to the hot lunch mixes here in Chicago every afternoon, because there was a kid that from moved from Chicago to our suburbs. And so I was listening to the hot lunch mixes, started to understand that a little bit. And then years later, I actually started throwing parties. And once I started throwing parties, I started to disagree with the order of the songs as our DJ. And then I started to try to DJ, and I got hooked on DJing. So it was, it was a extraordinary feeling the first time that I was able to sync the beats. And I think the culmination of all the blues, all the jazz, all the rock, all the music in general kind of hit me all at the same time, and formed this very eclectic, I guess, reinterpretation of what I felt house music was, right? And from that point, I went 20 years of travel and hospitality and DJing and event production, and I haven't stopped touring since the early 2000s. And it's been one of those things where I've just, I guess I've fell in love with the music, and more than anything, it's something that just lives inside of me, and it's always just waiting to come out.
Wow.
So that
we love you, man. I just want to go on the DJ side. What did you start with when it comes to equipment? We're DJs.
that's
Equipment.
great question.
Break that down, baby.
Wait.
I'm
So the bedroom. What happened
so
in
I'm
the
gonna
bedroom?
go after you. Come on, baby.
So
Bring that on.
I had these when I first started to try it. My friend had 1200s, okay,
Okay.
but I had these little pitch deck techniques with the little roller pin on the side. So I was trying to blend with the little roller. So that's how I started.
Wait, with the rubber band underneath?
It had like a little rolling jog wheel. They didn't have the pitch at the time. It was just like a roll.
Wasn't the real 1200. It was the one with the rubber band.
Yeah. No, Newmark came out with something that was similar,
I
but
bought
no one could at that time. Nobody knew how to do what the 1200s had done. It was really 1200s or nothing.
Exactly. The other ones had a rubber band, so he grabbed it and he wanted to drop it. It would rub it up into the. It didn't have the grab and go.
Yeah.
It goes slow.
So that's what I started on. So that's what I started on DJing. But then the first time that I ever went into the studio in the early 90s was working with my one of my partners, DJ Immaculate, and he was on reel to reel, actually.
Yeah.
So we had like 4 tracks cut on reel to reel, and it was the first time that I'd ever seen reel to reel. Then reel to reel went to ADAT, and then ADAT went to Pro Tools, then Pro Tools went to Logic, and here I am today.
Nice. So wait a minute, back to the bedroom, to Dougie. Great question. Bedroom, basement, wherever. So how did you figure out how to mix? What was your first mixer?
Oh man, first mixer would have been it would have been a Newmark. It would have been some type of either a Newmark. It was probably Newmark, and then I would switch from Newmark to Rain. I'd go back and forth. So little Newmark, but the Newmarks that I really loved was the Newmarks that had the EQ for the channels on both sides. They had like an 8-band EQ on both sides, because I really love to like manipulate the frequencies of the songs.
Right.
Well, see, when I first started, it was 1200s, and we had Rotary, we had the Uris. I still have my Uri. I still have my
Nice.
Uris, and I still have my Reigns. I love them, and I know that all my friends will be like, "Yeah, that motherfucker started with real to real."
Oh,
he, he was splicing like a motherfucker, but it was just how we did it
language,
back in those days.
language.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just one of those things that you did back in the days.
Yeah.
Sorry about the language, everybody. I
Yeah, the actual first when I didn't realize it, but when I was in like fourth or fifth grade, I just remember one particular song. It was called "Buffalo Gals." Three Buffalo Gals gonna run me
By
outside. Right?
Malcolm McLaren.
Yeah.
Malcolm McLaren. The Buffalo girls go round the outside, round the outside, round the
So
outside.
that was one particular. We used to take two tape recorders, and then we would pause, record. We'd have three of them actually. Pause, record, and that was my first. I didn't know what I was doing at that time, but we were always trying to make our own little mini mixes, and and then I went in sixth grade, started listening to the after the hot lunch mixes. And then one time in high school, saw some kids dancing. Loved that. They told me it was Larry Heard and Gherkin Jerks, and I didn't realize that. And I just caught the bug. Like, I was big in sports, and then I came to a crossroads of loving like whether I was going to keep going with sports or keep throwing parties and DJing, and I chose to keep throwing parties and DJing.
Here's a little something.
Oh, go ahead. Go, Bob. Go, Doggy.
Remember this?
We can't. We're not hearing, Bob. We're not hearing. We're not hearing music.
Oh,
But
well, I'm playing Buffalo Girls.
let Buffalo Gals.
Yeah, Buffalo Gals.
Now, this is why we're doing this again. This is intellectual DJ producer program, and you know what, Dougie, when we started this way back, I remember saying one thing to you. What I love most about jazz radio is they spend 30 minutes talking about one song. That's only 3 minutes. And before you hear that song, you learn everything about who played the horn, who played this, and we're struggling to get to this point. It didn't happen overnight, believe me. In Biggie's small basement in Brooklyn, Biggie, can't you see? Praise God, him. Praise God, Sean, and everyone over there in Brooklyn. But I gotta give you a little backup. You brought up Malcolm. You brought up three Buffalo Gals, and that song is by Malcolm McLaren. Malcolm McLaren was. Now, he wasn't a hip hop guy out of New York or this or that. Malcolm McLaren was actually the manager producer of the Sex Pistols.
Oh, wow.
The Sex Pistols. God Save the Queen. Shane Strain. Give me a lot. The Malcolm McLaren owned a back in the mid 70s when life was very different. In England, he owned the one store that punk rock was born out of. And everybody, the Clash, the Sex Pistols, this one, that whole movement, Malcolm McLaren is a classic pirate. In fact, he was my inspiration coming from being a good child out of New York City and New Jersey to becoming, I want to be him. That guy took that store where all the punk, all the bands were buying and giving, and basically at that time punk rock did not exist yet. It was an anti-factor to superstardom, to the super bands.
Wow.
And the Sex Pistols, Sid Vicious, Johnny Rotten, aka Johnny Lydon, are one of the most infamous bands in the freaking world. And John and Malcolm McLaren took them, signed them, and made them his prodigy of introducing punk rock, as we call punk rock, which was it was like down with the establishment movement, and took them and made that whole thing happen. The entire factor. I mean, what Johnny, what Malcolm McLaren, he's not well respected. He's like Pirates of the Caribbean, Captain John Will Smith. You know, which is old stage after Keith. What's the guitar player from the Rolling Stones?
Keith Richards.
Keith Richards. He saves his character at that. That said, he took his character from that, but going back to, that's Malcolm McLaren. Malcolm McLaren changed the freaking world. He put the Sex Pistols into the punk rock movement. Blondie, this one, all of them, you name it, the Clash, and sent them into the United States. And the story of Malcolm McLaren, what he did with the Sexuals, is unbelievably, horrifically horrible. But he made it happen. That said, backing up, then he's always 3 steps ahead, as my best partner in my life, Ruben Cabrera, as Dougie Fresh might know, Ruben would always say, you're either 2 steps ahead or you're 2 steps behind. Malcolm McLaren then took what was going on in New York in the underbelly of Sugar Hill Gang and this and the Dougie, the whole what was everything was happening in hip hop, which didn't even exist yet in New York. He took that sound and was actually Blondie's. Freddie said, Dougie, what's that song? What's that song by Blondie? Rapture. Hello. This is all Malcolm McLaren moving forward from that to hearing the beats in New York City of the hip hop movement that doesn't even have a name yet. And that said, he took that song, that he created that whole thing, that whole piece of music. That changed my life. Come on, Julius. What's the title of the song?
Rapture?
No, Buffalo Gals.
Oh, Buffalo Gals.
Buffalo Gals. And he took, sorry guys, this interview is going off kilter a little bit, but Buffalo Gals, he took this American, Buffalo Gals go round the outside, round the outside, round the outside, like this hoity-toity, like Oklahoma, Wisconsin, dance around the fire, home thing, and then slammed it.
Yeah.
And he did this. I'll never forget. You all know the video. It starts on 5th Avenue, and it's a foggy morning. Aye. 2 Buffalo girls go around the outside, and then you're coming down 5th Avenue right into Washington Square Park. Julius, you don't know this, but we know it like the back of our hand. And then he goes, and he did that whole thing with Buffalo Gals. And that's incredible that was a piece that you took and a seed of your entire blossom. And I'm sorry, I can't help myself. I cannot help myself. And then he went on with the rest. He had various of that. But Malcolm McLaren influencing you influenced the entire world. And that's for sure. And Buffalo gals go round the outside. Wow. That's huge. I'm sorry. I have to, that's why I'm doing these interviews, because I'm not just, I'm not here to talk about you. I'm here to share the stories of how we all got to where we are.
Yeah.
So that said, fantastic. Now, forgive me. I hope you guys I didn't lose anybody. Julius, from there, as those are your influences, let's go back to house music and how you found yourself at the moment of the big boys, the big guys out of Chicago.
Yeah, so being from the suburbs, so it was kind of like almost like a I maybe second, third generation of like passed down, and the person that was most, I said, the three that were most influential probably would have first been for me would have been like Larry Heard. Then it would have been Lil Lewis, and then it would have been Frankie Knuckles.
One of my boys.
Oh, bingo.
So those three, and the reason I say in that order, in that specific order, because Can You Feel It with Mr. Fingers was that was like an anthem. Yes. From like, that was one of the songs that right away just hit me, just like, oh my goodness, right? And then as far as Lil Lewis was the first person who I could clearly understand through his music that he was sending a message to that whatever you feel or hear or see inside of your mind, to try to do it exactly like that, right? And I could feel that, especially his album Journey with the Lonely. That was just one of the most incredible albums to this day of any genre, in my opinion. It tells an entire story, and part of the reason, it helped me, like, helped reaffirm my thought process on production. And then Frankie Knuckles, like for instance, like the Whistle song. And then later, I got a chance to meet Frankie Knuckles, and in fact, he DJ'd one of my as a surprise for my 30th birthday party, my 30th something birthday party, and he was always one of those kind of mentor-like figures who didn't matter where I saw him in the world, he'd always take a little bit of time to ask me how things are going. Give me advice on whether it be tours or how to handle promoters or how to handle sponsors or just how to stay relevant. And so I appreciated all three of those guys. And then there are a ton of other artists here in Chicago. And I almost feel like in Chicago, we are a small net community, but the thing is, there's a DJ coming up every day. So the standard of good DJs here in Chicago is just off the charts. To the point where you get on, you can't mess around. There's no time. You mess around, you be booted off, just
absolutely, like that. Absolutely.
So house music specific, those guys were like my kind of my 3-tier. And then the first time that I went to New York, and I got a chance to hear artists like Timmy Regisford. And Timmy Regisford is special for me because he was the first one that kind of helped me understand what my DJ style was, and the ability to be able to move people with your music, almost like physically, right? He had that total like embodiment of the music, and then there was like Joe Clausell, who kind of helped me understand what being one with the music was. So there's lots of people that I could like, this line of understanding like who I was. Maybe the first DJ in Chicago to tell me that my exact style was unique was a guy named Gemini. His name is Spencer Kinsey, and one day he came up to me and he said that wait, so are you telling me that when you're playing a song and there's a vocal going, that you will raise the volume and increase the mid range at the same time to accentuate the vocal? And I said yes. He's like, that's unique and special, and nobody does it like that. So keep that. And I was like, wow. And this is early on. So I give a lot of credit to, like a lot of artists, because I've been kind of like a student, and I still am a student to this day, just like absorbing and, and just, and letting it all come out and being okay with whichever, and just, kind of holding the ship together. That's how I feel.
Man, man, oh man, oh man. That's why you're the mad thinker. That is fantastic. But I'm gonna back up here, pause, and repeat. Frankie Knuckles.
Yeah.
Frankie Knuckles.
Yep.
Dougie, I know, he left Chicago, came to New York. I had was very graciously blessed to work with him, but to know him as a personal person.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
he was one of the best.
he was not he wasn't a show boy. Like, he was a show boy. He
was a regular guy.
Walked in that room, and you know it. You walked in there, whether it be Space or Sound Factory, or not Space, because it was already, God bless him, he was gone by then. But the Sound Factory and these places in New York, wherever
everything. Oh man,
he played. And we talked about this in the last the pre-interview for today. He made the rooms melt. It became like velvet, like red, like if someone just wrapped the room in red, like you just dropped every single thing you ever could even consider and thinking about or worried about or thought about. And he was like, what is incredible. It was like a red candle in a room. He melted it. And then you were on the Frankie Knuckles. Yes, the whistle song is one thing, but walk into a room with 3,000 people and Frankie Knuckles is playing, or which he had New York radio endlessly, similar to the Hot Lunch, which Dougie has now in New York and across the world. When it was a Frankie Knuckles mix, you just shut down.
Yep.
Oh, you want to hear nothing. I don't care if the boss is firing me. I don't care if it's 55 below zero. But Frankie Knuckles was such a loving human being.
Yeah.
As you were just told, people take your heart and put it out there. What you do, this is your style, and you have that, Julius. You're right there in the lineup. You're a young man.
I appreciate that.
Now you're only 95 years old, but you look good. But Frankie Knuckles, he's such a friend to myself. He changed my life.
Yeah.
I would hang out. I would go to his apartment on the Lower East Side and sit there, and I'd drop new tracks in front of him. But he's a gentle giant. Right? Was he not? Doug,
he was amazing. I love him to death.
Big. He was so big, and he was like a big teddy bear. You don't even know how to. And meanwhile, we're intimidated talking to him, and he was like, make a cup of tea.
Yeah, and really nice guy. He'd invite you in to his apartment, and the last time I was there, I was with DJ Lyndon Oy. DJ Lyndon, you remember him, Carl?
Lincoln, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was me, Lyndon, and Glenn Frischer, DJ Glenn Frischer, also.
Wow.
And it was a great time. We were talking about a bunch of different things, and we were just getting into music. And I wish at that time there was cameras really sitting in on the conversation, because it was so deep. We were going into breaking down house music and breaking down how we do our styles and what we should do for this next event that we had done. And it was so amazing. And thanks to Rubin, all these great promoters who have worked with us, worked with Hot 97, worked with all the things that I've worked with, La Mega, Sepega, all my team members. I'm WBLS, where we
WBLS in 92.3.
All these amazing people that I work with, Vinny Grillo, all these amazing people that are superstars. Roger Sanchez, even though he's just been killed in the press lately because he's dating this girl. But
let that go. Yeah.
But I give him my love because he's amazing. He's amazing kid, and though everyone else is like, oh, he's a man. When I meet you, that's the age that you always stay with me. So I always remember him as an 18-year-old kid that was like, yo, let me get on a Red Zone tape. And you remember the Red Zone tapes?
Well, Doggy Fresh had to the world to be known, the Red Zone in New York City, 92.3 KTU FM and 98.7 KISS FM and WBLS. These are before the internet. This was where at 12 o'clock, you didn't know. I don't care where you were. If you were, every truck driver, every guy in a cab, every person, you stopped what you were doing and you listened to the mega mix at 12 o'clock, and then the Frankie Knuckles, WBLS. This is huge.
See, now you're making me want to do that for tomorrow.
Well, you opened up a Pandora box here, Julius. Frankie Knuckles.
I got some stuff that's never been released that I can play.
Wait, that's another show. That said, we might have to part 3, part 4. But man, Frankie Knuckles, when you walked in the room, oh my God, did it just like melting red candle wax? That's some of the best description I ever heard. The room went red, and you didn't know what to do with yourself. You felt his heart went to the arms, to the needle, to the vinyl, and man, the Frankie Knuckles. God, I'm fortunate I have sunglasses or dark glasses on, and man.
See, you're making me cry because I'm thinking about all these amazing guys, and they're like
That's guys like that, and there's so many of them. That's why we did a show every week. Giant. And so then let's Dougie, you and I gotta back up and look at this young man, this young superstar.
Yes, and he
What?
plays like several of the people that he just mentioned.
You're right. Your mix, your ability. Now, don't get all big. Don't get 7 feet tall in front of us. But it's out of hand. You're unbelievable. So I'm going to go now back to the house music generation, which Queen Regine, aka Regine Seiler, did for Fox Code when we went in there for all that jazz and blues was all that jazz. We covered Chicago hardcore. We went in there and we went for the blues and the jazz scene, and that we were really, as I said, we went into the Al Capone underbelly, this, that, with the old jazz, the blues rooms, the jazz rooms. How the hell did that all happen in Chicago? But as doing our history, go take a look at the Fox River, which the magazine was called Fox Code, by the way. And then we go down that Mississippi River all the way down to New Orleans, Mississippi. Here we go, where the blues. P.S. people, we're doing a Pulp Fiction factor here. We're giving you the story. Now we're going pretty much back. How do you get to the story where we are now? How did that happen? The blues down in the Mississippi South, which we all know what was going on there, and then the jazz scene over in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Man, go out to the bayou. But that said, I'm bringing this up because, a lawyer never walks into a room not knowing what the answer to the question is. So that said, to you, our friend Julius Spates, aka the Mad Thinker, let's go down to your roots and your history following down the Mississippi.
Yeah, well, my dad was born in Mississippi, Tupelo, Mississippi, and my mom was
Been there.
yeah, and my mom was born in Opelika, Alabama.
Oh,
So yeah, so I was obviously way too young, but I can only trace my roots when it comes to blues from there back up to Chicago. I think my we I mostly remember soul, but I was in fifth grade. I was in band, so we pretty much started to research. We started to research quite a bit, when it came to blues and jazz, and I was always really drawn into jazz just because of the intensity, right? And to be able to crescendos and diminuendos, making it really loud or making it really soft. And so being in band and then marching band, it all kind of culminated at the same time. But I think from blues, from jazz, and then B-side like disco, that all kind of it was inside of me without me even really knowing it. And I think some of the guys that I just mentioned, like Lil Lewis's dad was part of the first record label here in Chicago for jazz, and came from the roots of blues. So, and then every year, of course, we would be going to the Jazz Fest and the Blues Fest. So it will always be a part of my, I guess I'd say, DNA. I just never knew how to really interpret it. And then when it started washing, when I started getting an understanding of the Rolling Stones, when I started to understand Led Zeppelin, when I started to understand Jane's Addiction, like all of that was mixed in together, right? And it, along with a very specific kind of particular outlook on how a room should be and people should, how you should attend to them from a musical aspect. And so my entire style now is really, it's like a DJ producer, but it's almost, it's just like, it's it's like providing this atmosphere for what needs to be, not necessarily what everyone wants to be, but what needs to be in a room, right? And sometimes that's like this kind of harsh, sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's happy, sometimes it's sad. But I think from the roots of music that I've heard, how I've grown up, where my parents were from, my grandparents, leaving little American Indian blood as well. I think all of that has kind of made me who I am, and being that I've been like kind of like a student and really absorbing everything. When I DJ, it's essentially just this kind of road of acceptance of what is and what isn't, right? And then I'm just providing the soundtrack and the atmosphere and the colors to what's there.
Oh man, you would love a Richard Long system. That was a system that we used to use it back in the days where, see, you're a young cat.
The baseline, was that the one with the bass bends in the ceiling?
Yeah, that everything was separated. Back then,
analog.
Highs, there was highs, mids, and lows.
Analog.
Different.
It's all separated.
You think you like the system now? You would have loved that type of system.
You know what? I've heard a lot about like different sound systems over the years, and as I've been coming up, there's lots of people who've compared me to artists, DJs from the past. And one DJ that I really, really wish I could have, there were two that I really wish I could have heard that I didn't get a chance to hear. The first and the person that's I'm compared to the most from someone who came from the inception would have been Ron Hardy. I never got a chance to hear him, but people would always say like, "Hey, have you heard Ron Hardy?" I'm like, "No," and they say something about his energy and like the range of music they would compare. Yeah. So he's one person, and then also Larry Levan. I always would have wanted.
Thank you, Larry Levan. Amen.
I've always wanted to hear like I listened to tapes, but I would have always wanted to hear him live as well. And I think from the New York side of things, a lot of people would tell me about the different sound systems. In fact, the person who discovered me out of New York, that brought me to New York for the first time, was a guy named John Davis, who was the producer of Body and Soul. Yes. And so he kind of brought me into the New York fold after hearing me in Miami. And from that point, I would start to hear about, the David Mancusos and the sound systems and like of the Love Parties and the Shelter and like I was on this whole brand new.
The Shelter was a Richard Long system.
Yes.
Wait, let me back up here. Let me. See, Dougie and I are going to our history books here. Larry Levan. The Garage.
Yep.
Paradise
Garage, New York City, baby. That's where we would go.
The almighty disco ball, the queen of the queen, our almighty, remember you say, the God of gods is the disco. Larry Levan at the Garage.
Yeah, Larry Levan was one of the best.
The whole dang thing. All of it. And but not getting back to Chicago, but New York, had this thing where disco was born there, but this came in, and the underbelly, we'll call it, of oh my God, the garage.
Yeah.
That's you say to anybody like that, and to be 75 years old and no, just go, oh yeah, it's Larry Levon changed the world, just like Frankie Knuckles, and you know what? I'm gonna give it to this man
Yeah,
here.
but we're all his proteges.
We're proud
We all got into
so bring
into the house because of him.
I'm so kicking, and amen. The garage, which now they even have a genre of house music, deep house, garage. It's a genre of its own, right? Right, Dougie? It's
Yeah, and the UK has a version of garage also. That's pretty good.
happened what they because these guys don't play around in Northwest Chicago, and I've been to the super clubs there, and we'll get to that. But Sham Wow, you just you're a 4-hour talk show, 4-part series. I'll say it that way, Julius. And if anyone, as they told you, you've been touched with the shine, you got to shine on you, boy.
I appreciate that, man.
Jamaicans, the shine be upon you. But be careful because the shadow, everywhere you walk, the shadow be beneath you. keep
definitely following you.
You shadow upon the pond. You shadow upon the walk. You shadow upon the walk. The land you walk upon, and the shine is upon you. So to our Jamaican friends, to that, blessings. Boy, Dougie and I are both sitting here going, man, we are not puppies, and but we are children to the people we're talking about, and now this is our role to bring this to the next level. So I want to reiterate to the world, people that are watching this, house music didn't just happen. It came up the Mississippi. It came up. The Southern blues, the blues came out of the front porches of people that were not, they just were doing the things. They were fighting the fight. It's biblical. And that as the exodus, now there's an exodus another way, but the exodus was go north, and they went to Chicago, and then at the same time at New Orleans, they jazz thing, which is a mix of a whole nother factor, came up too, because. Well, we want to get into all that. But that said, on one side, east side, west side, uptown, downtown, those two things settled very clearly and became not just an underbelly where we know where the Elvis and all this, everything happened in Tennessee, Kentucky, with the whole rock thing, rockabilly. They were over there discovering what the black, excuse me on language, but no, why am I excuse me? The fact is, what the black music people were doing, infused with rock, and then that created the whole thing there, and that went public. go up the Mississippi, Chicago settled itself very well with the blues and the New Orleans jazz, and that said, merging together and working itself out, which we all know, man, people go to Chicago and go on a tour, go on a night walk, and you will never find better music in your life and any given bar, top or the south side. But that was the in that was the seed of what house music became. Am I wrong?
Hey, house music had many beginnings, and all of it
Oh,
you were just talking about. A lot of it came from that.
those
Came from
kids.
jazz, came from R&B, rhythm and blues, soul, uh,
But wait,
rock.
no, those artists.
We're starting to lose you for some reason. We're starting to lose you, Carl, for some reason. Your voice started kicking out. Are you okay? Well, anyway, while Carl is trying to breathe right this second, Julius, I just wanted to ask you, what was the best place that you ever played, and what was the crowd like?
Say it one more time. I missed the first part of it. What was the best?
Best sound system place that you played, and and
Oh,
what was the crowd like?
okay. Let me think about that. Woo. Wow. Let's see here. Okay. The first place that comes to my mind. Um. Oh. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. Wow. So the first place that came to my mind was a place in Amsterdam called the Jimmy Woo. Uh,
Yes.
that was like ridiculous. But then I go back. I played twice with Lil Lewis, and he brings in these like insane sound systems. Uh, like I don't even know what they were. I don't know what they were, but they were like incredibly massive and very fine at the same time. And I think those events the I had the most fun at those events right there, just because again, when you're working with that much sound, you have the ability to almost lift people up, right? With the different accents that music will are is intertwined within it, you know. But I would have to say probably. Uh, you all right, Carl?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Lewis's last dance tour, and then CPR party.
Yeah, Carl is not feeling that well, but yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. And inhale the cucumber. Good.
Okay, watch those cucumbers. Yeah, so yeah, so that's what I would say. Like this CPR, it was at a place called Crowbar in Chicago. But man, I've played a lot of different places with like awesome sound systems. One time in the Philippines, they had a massive sound system. You know, these days, I so I as of late, I played on a lot of Function One systems. Then I played on a lot of Void systems. I think I've been more. Oh, there's a gentleman in New York. His name's Shorty.
What?
Shorty Shorty has the systems in New York. he's like, he comes from that lineage of really appreciating the Richard Longs and all those systems that, you know, that are around that era. But and he now makes his own, you know, his own isolators or whatnot. So I really love all of his stuff. But my favorite mixer right now, hands down, would be the Alpha Recording series. I
Okay.
think it's the 90, I think it's like the 90, 9100, 9200 or something like that.
Yeah.
It
That's good.
has, it's just, it's solid, and I love oscillators, right? If oscillators are built in into all of the different channels, it's really smooth and it's super durable. So I love that. Yeah, Alpha Recording Series that I think is a 9100. My favorite mixer, hands down. Super smooth.
Mm.
And that's the way to be able to. So I just got to ask you, uh, would you rather do 12 inch or CDJs or controller?
Um,
Now I'm talking about.
Gosh, well, you know what? It's funny, since this pandemic, I like got back reacquainted with all my vinyl. So it took me a little second, because it just, vinyl reminds you to really take your time, right? For me, because with digital, it's like everything is instant. You get in there, boom, you just in there. Vinyl it takes a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So you're like constantly like, okay, yeah, exactly, exactly. So I
This
think
is
that
your friend. This is your friend with vinyl.
absolutely, yes. That
Shake
was
this sucker up.
totally.
Okay, I'm
Totally.
ready, baby.
Absolutely. So I mean,
Bam,
I
box
love
out.
playing vinyl. I love playing vinyl. Um, I mean, in the end, once vinyl went to CD, I had this kind of this moment of understanding, like, okay, wait. In the end, it kind of boils down to the music first and foremost, right? And especially when you go through the production process, like from reel to reel to ADAT to cassette tape to, like, cassette tapes sound terrible. I can say that for sure, right? But in the
No,
end, it's
it's
like
how
a
you
good.
record it onto the tape. It's how you record it onto the tape and the type of tape. That's
That's
the
true.
thing.
That is true. That is true.
You
That is
got
true.
you couldn't go cheap, and a lot of people went cheap
Yeah.
and go
Yeah.
cheap.
There were some good tapes. There were some good tapes.
TVX.
Yeah,
Yeah, but in the end,
there's so many that were really good, and they would capture all the sound. Now,
yeah.
would you rather have vinyl sound or CD sound?
Oh, I would rather have
Oh,
vinyl sound.
come on.
Vinyl has that warmth. Vinyl has the warmth, you know. So
Right. Amen. Right. That's a new topic right there. Absolutely.
you know,
That's why I went there because you know a lot of
Not
DJs
the,
now they call themselves DJs, but when we were really playing, if you was a real DJ, you could spin. You can go from turntables to CDJs to a controller without even thinking about it and play at the same time, which I've
yeah,
been known for. To
yeah,
play all 8 decks, and everyone's like, "How the hell did he get that sound?" Practice,
well,
multiple
I'm,
turntable, multiple
uh,
turntable champion.
I'm done with my coffee spell. Let me say it clearly. When you put the needle to the vinyl, you will never, ever, ever, the magic of how that works, you will never, ever, well, right now with our technology, they're very close to it, to take, but still, there's nothing like what happens in that recording, which was analog, by the way, when they did it and they recorded it and they put it on vinyl and then you put that needle to it. And how that even happens, there's nothing bigger than, and we all will agree to that. You can't even touch vinyl ever when you put the needle to the vinyl. That said, I will talk technically. All the transitions everyone has gone through, without a doubt, it's been one thing to another. But the new big rooms, unfortunately, they're all shut down right now. Can't wait to walk into a big room again. Their sound systems were now reinvented. Pasha, this one, that one. They reinvented from what started with analog to digital. Recorded here in voiceover. Now it's going to here. Now it's going to there. Now it's in a little box. Now it's in a Mac unit. But the biggest thing, and Dougie, you and I can agree, that when Space spent $40 million to open up their nightclub with the sound system that was built, or actually before them, was Pasha. Pasha, back again in Chicago, Pasha in Chicago, New York, and I think wherever in where? Visa. Pasha, they sold the rights just to the sound system process alone would cost you $3 million just to get it. German engineer. Fantastic. But when you walked into these rooms, the sound system was now built to receive the way that the song was recorded. Get away from analog, get away from this. The tapes to this to that was gone. Now everything is digital. And forgive me. So the way it was recorded then, the way it was transmitted to the dance floor. I'm sorry, guys. But what a bad moment for a cough. That said, so that guy said, when it's recorded here in digital, so the sound system will be equal to the way it was recorded, which lost all the factors that were intermeeting to get back to what we all love, vinyl. There it is. $4 or $5 million installation for a sound system that there's only 3 of them that ever even existed. Space is one of them, Sound Factory, this one. And man, when you walk in, you go, oh my God. Back to the vinyl factor where you sit in your living room, you put on that on a 1200 in your, I have a 8 system. I have a my home stereo is old analog all the way / intermeeting with the rest. But there's nothing like hearing a horn come from the right, circle around to the left, and this guy and the vocal here and that, and then a sound system that will take you on a ride.
Yeah.
Well, Crowbar was on the cost of that. But what happened with the whole sound system with Pasha, and then / with the rest went on. It's unbelievable. So I'm sorry, guys. I forgive my cough moment. But that said, it is unbelievable where the eclectic area of sound adapting to, it's a big thing. Where how is it recorded as to how is it transported? Before we had all that other stuff, George Murado is a perfect example. He adapted to the entire process.
Yeah, I think you know, systems are it's a huge thing. You know, the type of system that you're playing on. I get excited for, you know, traveling around the world to see like who really cares about their system versus just you know, a lineup who's coming into the club and just to make as much money as possible. So I noticed in France they really care about their sound systems. Of course, New York really care about their sound systems. Um, Amsterdam really care about their sound system. A lot of places around the world really care about their sound system, and I think it's refreshing to, you know, to walk in and meet an actual dedicated audio engineer and someone who's actually going to be taking care of the sound system as well as the lights. I love it when there's an actual tech that's there with light, with sound, you know, that you can, you know, that you can actually count on, and who's interested and excited about playing along with you on that side. And I'm sure you've noticed that over the years that that hasn't been as much of a prominent part of the nightlife, you know, as it was earlier on.
Well, yeah. Uh, there's so many things that are different now that back in the days they were handled a different way. Uh, Carl, your unmute yourself. I muted you because you was coughing. Uh, but you can unmute yourself.
I think he's
It's
still
that
coughing.
the
He may
microphone when
need
you
to get a
stop
little bit of
coughing.
water.
But uh, back to you, uh, Julius. Yeah, I was listening to many of your mixes, and they can find you on SoundCloud and things like that. Uh, I found that with a lot of your mixes, a lot of your songs, you you do a great job. I love the influence. You did one that was like African that had an African beat that was amazing, and it was something that I would play if I was playing certain. It matters on where I was,
Right.
and uh, I I loved it. It was nice. It was smooth. Uh, it made my day uh, because uh, it was for Deep Love. It was for the Deep Love show. It was a 90-minute, as I call it, a 90-minute tape, and it was nice. It was smooth. I got down. I was getting into it, doing my thing. I was like running, walking around the station, just doing my thing, and it was one of those things. Yeah, it was a nice set, and sets that you sent me afterwards for the show. and you even did a hot lunch, was amazing. A really, you put down those beats nicely. Someone that would open for me would be someone like you, because
Thank you.
you
I
would.
appreciate that, man.
And anyone who knows me knows you gotta be good to open for me. There's not that many people that can say, "Well, I can really open for Doug," because it's hard. Because that's and it's harder to go after me.
Hmm.
If I'm opening, forget it. There's so many DJs that will go, "Oh, no, I'm not doing it." And I've actually seen DJs walk out the club, say, "Nah, I'm not doing that." That kid is evil. He's playing that real house music. And one guy actually went to the promoter and said, "Oh, I was going to play everything that he just played." And the promoter looked at him and said, he's playing all his own remixes, right? So you're trying to tell me that you you was gonna play his remixes after him?
Yeah.
Get out of my club. Get out of my club. Say no more. I gotta tell Dougie this. This will make him laugh. And I'll be like, "What? Really? You was about to play my remixes? Okay, I'm gonna let that go
Well,
because
hey, Dougie, am I back on?
yes, you're back on. How you
Sorry.
how you feeling? You feeling okay?
Yeah, I have coughing spells. It's nothing other than a usual because I smoked for a long time. So let it be that. That's the least of my worries. Um, so Dougie, to have a interview with you, with this young superstar, has been nothing but special. Um, I want to get to one more topic of how you incorporate, Julius, your influences from blues and jazz into your mixes, because or your productions, and they're outstanding. And I'll leave it at that. People will hear it when we push play. But Julius, aka the Mad Thinker, has been the first out of five to introduce a very funky electronic Kraftwerk version of Petra Love, which is Code Media Group artists that we are producing from start to finish. And that said, Julius, flash forwarding, this is a very big project, and that said, you have brought us a whole nother different division, derivation, if that's a correct term, of the song that was submitted to you.
Yes.
On Petra Love, number one, I dig you, and waiting for 1979, and then as people will hear following this, the introduction of the original version of I Dig You, and then the variation from remix, as we call it, from Julius, the Mad Thinker of IDQ, and then 1979, which is a remake of Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins,
Chicago.
which now in his archives, which he's working on in his studios as well. So, if you want to give us a quick overview of how you took Petra Love, I Dig You, and your influences and what you produce back to us.
Yeah, sure. Well, it kind of the vibe when I heard the original vibe was reminding me of like Blondie, a little bit of Madonna, and I was like, I've always been a big Madonna Prince fan. You know what I'm saying? So it was already there, and then like kind of delight the kind of fun energy, and so but from a beat perspective, we started from like Kraftwerks and like Planet Rock. That was kind of to be able to keep the integrity, but the entire approach. What I do in the very beginning is I'll research the artist, and I knew that she was from a small town, and then I'll create a narrative, and then build a soundtrack around that narrative. So for Petra, she was from a small town, and things that stuck out that she was very kind, and then that she did really well in real estate, and then also that she was in the modeling world. So I just started thinking about small town girl into a big city, and then like the biggest event in the modeling world it would be like New York Fashion Week. So it was kind of the soundtrack behind that New York, like it's like a what if this small town girl goes and just blows away everyone at New York Fashion Week, right? And so I created a soundtrack to that with my partner Rasul, and I think that it all kind of blended together. But we wanted to keep it light, but keep the integrity of like that kind of small town girl meets New York Fashion Week, but have that beat just slamming. And then there was these kind of like catchy sounds in it already, and we just kind of went with that, and it turned out the way it turned out, and we just started noticing like it just was like just kept you it kept reeling you back in, right? Because at first I was thinking like, man, would I play this? And then we made one element change to the beat to give it a little bit more something, but with not too much to keep it on that kind of runway. Because now I really I actually can't wait to go to some huge runway show and hear it being played, because I can see it right. But yeah, that's kind of what it was, and it was fun and had that delight energy and blinded a little bit of Madonna, and yeah, so that's what we did, and you never know how it's going to be receptive or not. I didn't know, but I knew it was catchy, right? And so we'll see what happens after this.
Yeah, I'm about to play both versions. You guys are going to stay in the chat while I play them, and we're gonna get crazy, okay? So y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
So let me see what I got. Let me grab this up.
Wait, let me say something. When we're done with the original version and then the remix of the original version of I Dig You, we're going to step off. There's also a second song called 1979, but I would like Julius and his team are working on that. But after this, people, you're going to have a 60-minute mega mix from Julius Space, aka the Mad Thinker, that's going to take you on a drive. For sure. Did I say everything? Forgive me, people, of my coughing. That said, this has been an incredible interview. We could do this for 3 hours with you, Julius. But amen, and God bless you. And so let's play the music, Dougie Fresh.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you
This
guys
is
for having me.
original.
Dougie, we don't hear the music.
Oh, but it's playing though. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, we're just playing the song. It's playing right now, and the other version, and then it actually go. So on the second song, right after it is the mix. So you you can stop it after the mix. Okay, no problem. Okay, Carl. Peace, love, and we'll talk another time. Okay, Julius, we're out of here.
Okay,
We're playing your mix. Okay.
cool.
Thank you so much for everything, and we'll catch you on the flip side, baby.
Sounds good. Talk to you guys soon.
Yep. Okay, Carl. Catch you later.